I made this cake a couple of months ago for my sister-in-law's birthday, and it was so popular. I think some of my family were a bit nervous about having a vegan birthday cake for them to all eat. It got devoured in about 2 minutes, so I really wanted to make a video to show you guys how to make it, because I have a feeling the same thing might happen in your house. So it's a double layered chocolate cake, and then in the middle is a thick, creamy cacao yogurt glaze deliciousness. And then I like putting berries on the top. Super, super, super easy to do. So to get started, you need some buckwheat flour and some almond meal, so ground almonds. But actually I did it the other day instead of buckwheat flour with plain white flour, and it worked perfectly. So whichever you've got on hand or you prefer. So you just want to mix that up with a bit of bicarb, which helps to make it fluffy, and then also some cacao powder, which is what gives it the richness. So if you're using cocoa powder instead of cacao, you'll find the cocoa powder isn't as strong in flavor, so you might just need to adjust the quantities a little bit, so keep an eye out for that, and make sure you try it to check the flavors right for you. And then we just add a pinch of salt as well. That just helps to bring out all the flavors. So once you've got all the dry ingredients together, just stir it up and just make sure there's no lumps in the mix or anything, and then we're gonna add our wet ingredients. So I'm gonna be honest, it's quite a sweet cake. We add quite a lot of maple syrup to it. It's because it's meant to be really indulgent and a treat and brilliant and delicious. But if you don't want as much, you can switch some of the maple syrup for almond milk, because we use 100 mils of almond milk as well. So you can mix that around again, make that work for you depending on what you like and the sweetness that you like things to be. And then the other wet ingredient we use is quite strange, if I'm honest with you, and it's chickpea water. Now to get it, what you do is you get a can of chickpeas and you drain the water from the can and you pour that into the mix. Obviously keep your chickpeas and put them into a stew or a curry or a salad, or bake them and they're really nice and they're crunchy, and toss them into a salad. There's so many things you can use them for, so make sure you just put them in your fridge, don't throw them away, and put the water in the mix. It gives that fluffy egg-like consistency, which is really hard to get from anything else. In fact, no other vegan baking I've done has succeeded in the way the chickpea water has. So try it, trust me. So now just stir those wet ingredients in with the dry ingredients until it's all really nicely mixed together. And then you're just gonna line 2 baking trays. I use coconut oil to do it because I like that little bit of flavor on the outside of the cake. Make sure they're really well greased though, so that you can actually get them off when you're done, or use a silicone one or something if that's easier. And then we're just gonna put them in the oven and they cook for about 25 minutes. You can use the knife test, just pop a knife in and make sure it comes out clean. That's how you know that it's cooked all the way through. And take them out of the oven and let them sit and rest, and they will finish firming up during that time. So while your cake's cool, you can make your icing. It's actually so important to let them cool completely before you put the icing on, otherwise you'll find it melts and might fall off a little bit, especially in the layer between the 2 cakes. It's just 4 ingredients, so it's a coconut yogurt, and I use a plain one, but you could just use a normal yogurt as well if you prefer, and that makes it really thick and creamy. And then with that, we use a date syrup, which is a lot thicker than a maple syrup. You could use a honey instead if you preferred. And then cacao powder and a little bit of the coconut oil, which you get the kind of essence of from the baking tin. It just creates this really rich, chocolatey, indulgent icing that works perfectly. So you just want to put half of that in the middle, half of that on the top. The other thing that you can do, which is absolutely delicious, is in the middle layer, as well as that, put a layer of raspberry jam or strawberry jam in as well. It just gives a nice little sweet, fruity bit, which I love. And then on the top, I just sprinkle berries, but you could also do things like toasted hazelnuts or walnuts or coconut chips. So that's really up to you. And then serve it, and I have a feeling it's gonna be a big hit. If anyone did want to make this in advance, you can make the bases and freeze them. They freeze really well, but I would make the icing fresh. So you've snuck out onto our little office balcony for afternoon tea for one. And you can see the cake, so it's really gooey, and it has this gorgeous gooey layer in the middle with the jam and the coconut chocolate icing mix. And I just can't wait to hear what you think.